Chris, it's great to have you on the show. I'm anxious to learn more about you and, of course, the band Fallstar. And it feels weird that I had to move all the way to Nashville just to be able to talk to a Northwesterner after having lived in the Northwest for 6 years. But better late than never.
It's true. Yeah, good to be on. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Cool deal. So first off, I mean, we know that your name is Chris, and we know that you're in Fallstar. But beyond that, tell people who may be new to the band or new to you, as the case might be, kind of where the band came from and your role in the band and all that good stuff.
Well, I started the band in 2005 with my twin brother and one of my friends, and it's a long time ago. I was 19. I came from just punk bands, so I started like playing bass in high school because I loved my Carrera from NXTX, and like all the punk bands are like my favorite bands. So when we started Fallstar, it was a little bit of a different sound because that's like what we were listening to started changing into more like Under Oath and Emery and those like Tooth and Nail bands. And so that's how we started back then. And then I'm the only original member. We've gone through 18 members.
Good grief.
And so, yeah, it's a lot of changes. But then my younger brother, Brian, joined us like maybe 3 or 4 years into Fallstar. And so he's still playing with the band now, and he's a huge part of it, like writing music and stuff. And so he's still going with it. But yeah, it's been a long time, and we've managed to like kind of form a style that's unique. So I think at first, like if you listen to our first EP, it's nothing like crazy. Like it's all right, but I wouldn't say it's good or like anything to really listen to. Even though it was like super popular when it came out, maybe that was just new. But now you hear it and everything's like super cliche. But I think we've managed to like develop a style that's really unique to Fallstar. So like when you hear us, you know who it is, and it's just weird enough that it works, but it's still really strange, and I like keeping it in that kind of area. Like you're not sure what you're going to expect, but you can always tell it's kind of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's us. We've been around for a little while. We've been touring, and we've been signed, unsigned. We were with Come and Live for a little while, and then Face Down Records, and then we formed our own record label for this last album, which was the best by far.
Nice.
And yeah. So it's been crazy. We've done it all. Like we've traveled overseas and such, and then I don't know. We're still making music. Like we're not gonna quit. Like I don't get why like people seem to like grow out of music or like think they have to quit when they get like adult jobs or like have a kid, because like the way music is now, like you can just record it yourself or like make your own record label or just tour whenever you want to, and not just to try and pay bills with it. So
right.
We'll be around. Yeah. So we're not gonna quit anytime soon, and the songs will keep getting better and better.
Nice.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Very cool.
And
man.
also for people who don't know, like our band name, everyone asks where it comes from. We've gotten some weird questions about like what it could mean and stuff, but it's just my last name backwards. So Fallstar is Ratzlaff backwards. We just changed the spelling.
You know what? Don't take offense, but I don't blame you. I could totally see why that would be a thing to do. I mean, but especially because if you just call the band Ratzlaff, people would wonder. That might require more questions than Fallstar. I mean, it just might. So you never know.
Yeah. And it's not like a cool last name. Like there's people with cool last names that are like, all right, cool, Beckstead is a sweet last name, but not Ratzlaff.
And Bon Jovi was already taken, so you can't do that. Can't do that. So now I want to touch back on something that you had said. I mean, you said that you guys have been through 18 different members, and I'm going to admit something. Whenever I hear of a band that has had that much member turnover, I usually look at the person who's still left standing, in this case you, and I secretly kind of wonder if they're a jerk. So I'm just going to throw that out there and expect nothing but good things to come from that.
No, I mean, I would think the same thing. I think I think like I am like one of the like nicest or like maybe more like gentle people that you could meet.
Okay.
But I think inside of like an artistic context, I'm very stubborn, and like I think I am more difficult to work with. And I think it's more, I don't know. I feel like with art, like I can't collaborate, and I would wonder like how bands would like write music together, like sit in the same room and like jam something and like be like, oh, this is awesome. And like we did that a lot for like our second album, or first full length, like the Reconcile, Refiner, Igniter, but I don't really like that album that much. So like, I have an idea of what I want it to sound like, and I've written so many songs, like I feel like I have a good grasp of like what the bridge should do for the song, like how the song should be structured if we're not going to go with a traditional like pop structure, like, and so like, yeah, I think I'm just more stubborn because I like the control of being able to compose and decide whether a song is like finished or it needs some more work. And so I think to be able to find people that you work with that can work with, like, at least for me, like work with me and the way I work. So like me and Brian will write songs together, but I don't write any of the pieces of his songs, like, and he's not the best at structuring music, so it works really well for us because like he will write like the riffs and like parts, and he just assembles parts, or not assembles at all, just gives me parts recorded, and then I pull them into Logic and I piece them into a structure that will work, and then I'll write like songs over it. So like if he doesn't give me like anything that resembles a chorus, I'm gonna write the chorus and then put that in there, and then like everyone's happy.
Right.
But yeah, so I think that's majority of it. And then also like for so long, like we never made money as a band. Like we still don't make money. We just make enough to like pay for like payments on like a practice space or like our van or something like that.
Right.
But we never like walk home with money. So it's hard to ask people to keep touring or like sacrificing like good jobs in order to not make any money.
Now see, just a forward note for future interviews, you might open with that, because otherwise it kind of sounded like you said, I'm a really nice guy, but when it comes to artistic things, I am kind of a jerk. And then that's just not good. I mean, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I always felt like super kind of like guilty about like the way I work with art and like what I want to see achieved through my art. But like now, like I know so many guys who are like me, who just their band is, they're the only original one in their band and they do everything for the band.
Right.
And like they're bands that are still like making their living and their job is off that, and I see them doing that. I'm like, okay, that's who you are in the band. I very much relate to that, and I understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Right. Well, see,
it's just a funny thing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I mean, and there's nothing wrong with having a vision, and when it is your band, it does make it a little bit more personal. And I mean, I guess it would be different in some ways if like it was all the original lineup and it was kind of this kind of thing that y'all maybe all had more equal ownership in. But with it being kind of the thing where you're bringing people in to kind of do things, I mean, sure, you're going to want to do things your way, and I don't blame you. And the product's good, and that's really kind of what it comes down to, because I mean, collaboration's only good if it yields good results.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. And like I love, there's like something super romantic about keeping all your original members. Like I love, like I think that's why like Under Oath is so strong too, because they have all the same members from when they had their breakout album, and you're just like, they're all still there. Like we go see their show and they will all still be there, and they're all probably best friends, or it's just something romantic about having all the originals in the band. Or like when Taking Back Sunday got all their originals back together, you're just like, yes. But that'll never happen for us.
Right. Well, see, I'm glad that you said that Under Oath got them from their breakout album, because at first I was about to say, wait a minute, I went and saw them when Dallas Taylor was their lead singer back in the day.
I know. I can't believe I was so stoked on them before they got Spencer, because I saw him with Dallas too, and I was like blown away. But then when they got Spencer, it was just completely different. Like way better. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it is strange how that works. Then you always have to wonder how bands do it, like bands like U2 or none of the other ones are coming to mind at the moment, because there are so few. But like you said, bands that have been around for a long time, even just more than 10 years, and have all the same members, it's like, wow, like that seems like a combination of really good luck and a lot of hard work, because it just I mean, what are the odds that the people who you start a band with when you're a teenager are going to be people who you can get along with forever?
It's so true.
It's craziness. It's total craziness and insanity. Oh, man. Well, now, one of the main reasons, of course, why we've got you on the show this time around, hopefully this won't be the last time, even if it is the first time, but the song Radio, which ironically enough, the chorus says that our songs will never spin on the radio, of course, is spinning on the radio, and it's charting nationally. So, I mean, it's a great thing. It's like you dared us not to play it, and we said, you know what? You can manipulate us all you want to. We're going to play it. We're going to show you, and then we thought about about it afterwards. But anyway, it's a great song. But tell us about kind of what went into that song, especially since, you know, we now know that you control everything going into the music. I'm just giving you a hard time. You know, now that we know that, tell us about that song in particular.
Yeah, I just wrote it. I think I was just frustrated because, like, a lot of my friends in bands who have been doing it the same amount of time or less than me, like, blew up, and, like, they're on Warped Tour and they're, like, making their living off, like, what I want to be making my living off of.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was, like, super frustrated when I wrote that, and I was like, and this is the same time where I'm, like, not necessarily, like, my friends' bands, but, like, other bands are, like, using, like, ghostwriters to write their whole album. And I'm like, you're supposed to be so punk rock, but you're paying someone else to write your music for you, which I don't have anything against that, but I feel like when you're at the low level that, like, we are, like, with heavy music and stuff like that, it just feels kind of cheap if you're supposed to be so punk rock, and if you have something to say that's so, like, like, worth screaming about. It was hard for me at that time to, like, understand someone else writing your music for you. So, like,
True.
I was, like, really, like, against that. And so I think that whole song is about, like, keeping the integrity of art and, like, how, like, I will never have someone else writing our music for us, or, like, I don't know. I think it's just more of, like, a stubborn way of saying, like, this art that we make and will always make will be true in the way that, like, I feel good about it, you know, like.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Now, and this isn't meaning to pick on you at all, not even a little bit. Of course, it's not the first song that has kind of pointed out kind of the whole, like, this is a song that won't be on the radio and then made it to radio. Were there any songs like that? And I like your song. There's nothing wrong with it at all. But were there any songs like that kind of were in the back of your head, or, like, that you had liked before?
No, I'd never, like, it was more just like I don't know. It was more just like I was, like, really frustrated when I wrote the song. So, like,
okay.
I wasn't trying to, I wish I was that crafty.
Yeah.
But I think it just came out of, like, frustration. And so, like, later when I heard, like, that it was, like, being played, like, we just, like, laughed really hard, and we were like, that's awesome. that's I guess the way life works.
Right. Yeah, it is true. So, it is strange. I mean, people like dichotomy, I guess, but yeah. Well, hey, I mean, you know, it's one of those things where if it's a good song, then why not? You know, but it is funny, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that. I love that people can hear it, and it exposes us to more people that may like our music. So I think it's awesome and hilarious.
Right, for sure. I love that. Now, one of the other songs that we're going to play, which is also off your most recent album, is called Summit. Tell us about that song.
That one I wrote in a day, which is funny because, like, I take forever writing songs, and so, like, the first song on the album, What Roberta Sparrow Said, took me 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And, like, I'd started writing that when we were in the studio for a previous album, Backdraft.
Yeah. And
it didn't make it onto that record, and it took me 2 years. And, like, I had all these awesome plans for it, and I stripped it down to 2 chords, and that's what made it work. So, like, it took me forever to get to the right place. But Summit, I just, I wrote all the music in the morning, and I thought that was great. And then in the evening, I went back and I sang all the vocal melodies, and I was like, this is perfect. Why can't everything be this perfect? And so it's just like a straight up, like, rock and roll song. Like, I love how it sounds. It's like driving, but it's still, like, quiet enough in parts to be, like, introspective. And it's really simple, and that's what I love about it.
Nice. Well, and it's funny because I've had this conversation with other people from various other bands, and I am pretty consistently falling on the side of most of the songs that I do really like and that stick with me for a long time are those ones that were written in a day, or that were finished in the studio the day that they were recorded. And I think that's so funny, and I think that a lot of that just really does come down to the idea of just kind of getting out of your own way, and it's nice when it works out. Because I'm sure that there are many songs that were written in a day or written in the studio that are terrible, that are just god-awful. Yes. But still, at the same time, you know, it's wonderful when it's just kind of, when it can be that simple and it works. And I love that. I love that a lot. I think that that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I always think and is kind of funny about bands who are smaller and who have a lower budget and who like maybe they're on a label but they only have like 3 days in the studio. I always find that it always feels like the stuff that was more under pressure tends to turn out sometimes better than the ones where like, yeah, we had 4 years in the studio to work on it. I'm like, really?
Yeah. Yeah. You can get too polished.
Yeah, it's like that was a little overwrought, don't you think?
Yeah.
And if by some weird chance Linkin Park is listening right now, I'm talking to you.
Sorry, dude. Yeah, I mean, I find that is such like a gem because I do write every day.
Yeah.
And so like there's a lot of really failed stuff that I look at. So this one's like the diamond out of all the trash that I've made. Like, because like I even finished and wrote and like did lyrics for like, I think it was 43 songs for this last record.
Yeah.
And we threw a bunch of them away and they're all like good songs. Like we thought about releasing them on like on B-sides or something.
Yeah.
Because I still listen to them in my own like phone every now and then. Like, man, these are good, but they weren't as good.
Right.
As like the 13 we put on our track. But yeah, I just have to constantly keep writing and I'm just waiting for like one of these days I'll just write a full song again and I'll use it. It'll happen eventually, but yeah, that one's the one I was just like, gosh, I should just do another summit sometime.
Right. The Golden Age, which was the most recent release from you guys, that was a while back now. What are the plans for future music at this point?
Well, I have 15 songs for the new album written. And then Brian, I don't know how many he has, maybe 2 or 3, something like that. So we'll try and get to around 40 again, maybe a little more. I just have the demos done with those, and I'm trying to map out a good time. I really don't want to have to do like a crowdfunding thing for the next record because I would like to just give it to people if they want it. But also I realize like crowdfunding is like also really healthy in a lot of ways for everyone. So I feel like it was a blast last time we did it, but I don't want to like exhaust like our resources or like tire out our fans if it's like every album, but some bands do it and it works. So we'll see, but trying to figure out a timeline. I know I was shooting for 2017 for this next album, but I think it's going to be more around 2018, like early.
Yeah.
But we have some travel plans in 2018, and this last year we didn't tour that much at all because Brian broke his arm really bad and he had to have surgery and stuff. Yeah, he was out for 8 months. Like he couldn't lift like over 10 pounds.
Wow.
So he definitely couldn't tour and play guitar. And then our drummer like got a sprained ankle really bad for a couple months. So we've been like a year without being able to like play shows, and we could have done subs and stuff, but we just didn't have like, I don't know, it just didn't seem right to do it. So we're going to take this year off of like touring, have like a lot. And so in that time though, I also recorded another album for a new band that I'm starting, which is not heavy, but it's still like heavy in different ways, but it's more like Brand New or Thrice or like anything like that. But so I'm actually recording that today.
Cool.
So I have a couple more tracks left on guitar and then I'll do vocals. We'll put that out this year, but I haven't announced a name or like anything like that, but it's really good and I'm super stoked for people to hear it.
Nice.
But yeah, it's not heavy at all or anything like that.
Cool. Well, I'll look forward to that. Most definitely. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you want to share with us that you want people to know about before we wrap up?
No, I mean, I'm just super stoked people are listening to our music. Like, it really means a lot to, like, that you guys are playing it, like, on the radio. Like, we're blown away by that. And I would just say, like, enjoy it. I hope the music speaks to people. Like, we really put, like, a lot of, like, time and energy into, like, the lyrics and, like, hoping that, like, I don't know, that people will be thoughtful about their place in the world and like how they affect others, and really hoping that our music can make the world a better place, even if it's like small or minuscule. So thank you so much for listening, and yeah, we really appreciate all of you.
Excellent.